Net-136. This is Thursday. We're in week 1. We're really winding down the initial command line code, and then the students are going to have a lot of work to do in the graphical user interface over the next rest of today and most of tomorrow. We'll take a little practice test tomorrow, and I'll try to put something together for the remote students to try the same thing. All right, so today we went through how to boot the machine to a different run level at the boot. When it first boots, we get a splash screen, and I'll try to move here to get the reflection off that. We get the flash screen, and then we have the run level. And so what we talked about was booting into single user mode. A similar thing would be to safe mode in Windows, run level 1. Run level 3, multi-user mode, we can boot to that, where we have all the features of Linux loaded with the exception of X11. Now, X11 is the server software that allows the graphical user interfaces like GNOME, KED, and KDE. I might have that order of that wrong, but of any of those to run on the machine. This can be a little confusing. X11 is just like the server that allows that to run. When we boot to multi-user mode or single mode, or when you pull up the terminal window, we work in this CLI level, and what is the default is the bash shell. We'll explain what that is a little bit. And there's also the corn shell that we can use. A little computer review. Here's the hardware. What communicates with the hardware is the operating system. What communicates with the operating system is the apps, the applications. They have to be compiled to match the operating systems. That was in a previous review of the items from the board. And then users communicate with the applications. Now we're moving from being just users to being some level of experts in terms of working with Linux. So there's this level, it's called a shell because it actually works like a shell over top of the operating system that allows us to use command lines to function with the operating system. For example, the shell allows us to use a command like rm, which means remove, and then that will send the correct signal to the operating system to actually perform the task on the hardware. That's kind of a long explanation for a simple topic. We cover that again later on. We actually cover that again later on. Now, to understand X11, that acts as like a server. That's going to communicate to the operating system and allow us to run GUIs with the operating system. So this is the underlying basis, and the GUI actually communicates with that server, which then communicates to the operating system. Now that's a mouthful. But anyway, that's how that works. I am going to restart the computer, and then I'm going to film how you would break into the system if you lost the passwords. And then later on we'll talk about reasons to do that. The big reason would be you could troubleshoot it. Okay? So, I'm going to film the screen here in front of me. And I'm going to log off. I'm not sure how well focused this is. I logged off. Now I'm going to tell it to restart. And then during the restart, I'm going to get a splash screen here in a minute. I'm going to press E on that splash screen. Okay? This is the same thing I have. You know, I got the projector going. So in here, this is the line we're interested in. This one that says Linux so forth. And down here, it's going to tell me that I can edit them. The key thing to see is when that first splash screen with the operating systems come up, when that first comes up, you want to press E in order to stop it. Now I'm going to move the cursor down. I actually have it down on that echo line. You can barely see it there. I'm going to push the back arrow key so it goes here. I'm going to type single. I'm going to type single, and then down here it says, even though you might not be able to read it in the film, it says F10 to boot. So that the key is getting to the end of this line and actually typing the word single. Got to have a space in there. And I'm going to press the F10 to boot. And I'm going to watch the boot here, up here on the projector. It's booting, and we're getting all these OKs. So it's loading. Oops, I got in the way. So it's loading just enough. It's loading just enough information in order for me to get to, I'll move out of the way again, to get to here. Doesn't quite show it there on the screen, but I'm at, it says root, and I'm at that prompt, and I have, like, my network services and all those things are not loaded. Okay, but at the prompt now, I could literally go in and change the password. So I could change the root password, okay? They call this rescue mode. You'll notice right up there. But I could change the root password right now, and then I could reboot the machine. So I have to go over here one more time. I'm almost done. And so I could make the changes I need to make. And then right here, I'm going to type shutdown. Shutdown space, and instead of shutting completely down, I go -R for restart, and then I'm going to tell it to do it now. And the machine now will boot normally, and I've already changed the passwords, and we're good to go. Now, while it's booting here, I'm going to show you again. Right here is where you'd press E. Right here before it gets to that point. All right? And if we have any other board notes today, I'll record those and attach those separate. That's it.